Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Grab yourself a cup of tea and let's talk some boxing. Now, there has been a back and forth again between Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte. Now, this time it was about Billy Joe Saunders and Tom Saunders, Billy Joe Saunders' father. And it was after the contest had finished, I believe, after Canelo had beat him. Tom Saunders, his father, tried to go to his corner but was mobbed by security and pushed back. Now, Tyson Fury was the other side of the barrier, and Dillian Whyte is saying that he's a coward for not doing anything, for not jumping the barrier and attempting to help Tom Saunders. Now, he was heavily manhandled by that security team, and other members of Saunders' team did jump the barrier and go and try and help him, and there was a bit of a ruckus for a while. But Dillian Whyte could not help but point out that Tyson Fury wasn't someone who did jump over the barrier and try and help. This is what Dillian Whyte had to say in his first tweet. Tyson Fury is a coward. How can you stand by and watch Billy Joe Saunders' father get treated like this and you didn't jump the barrier and at least try to stop them manhandling him? You are a coward. All mouth. Hashtag fighting man. Hashtag all mouth. Now Tyson Fury quickly came back and said this at Dillian Whyte, the can man. More like the can get knocked out by a 41-year-old man. Hashtag bum. Then Dillian Whyte responded to that one by saying this, calm down gypsy coward, you're no king Tyson Fury. If you thought I was a bum Luke, you would have fought me years ago when ordered by the WBC. Keep conning the public. So there we go, some back and forth between these two. At one point I believe that these two got on okay and they were respectful of one another, but they really do not seem to like one another at all. And Dillian Whyte keeps calling him Luke, and apparently the reason for that is because he says that Tyson Fury's real name is actually Luke Tyson Fury, and not Tyson Luke Fury. He said that he changed his name to sound more tough, and to kind of fit in with that Mike Tyson kind of thing that they have going on, with Tyson Fury being named after him. For publicity, I guess that is what he is saying, and just to sound tougher, I guess, because Luke doesn't sound as tough as Tyson. In the opinion of many, I mean, Luke's a pretty cool name. That's just for all the Lukes watching. But anyway, Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte haven't seen eye to eye for a long time now. And obviously, there is a fight being built up between the two of them. I mean, Dillian Whyte is WBC Interim World Champion to the WBC. Tyson Fury is WBC World Champion. And while he's not been made mandatory at the moment, you would think that Dillian Whyte will be mandatory in 2022. So perhaps at some point these two will fight, depending on what happens with Undisputed this year. I mean, 1 minute we're told one thing, 1 minute we're told another, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury. Plus what happened to Tom Saunders. Obviously, the first thing on his mind is going to be to go and see if his son is okay. So you can understand why he would go and try and get to the corner, but the security kind of just pushed him back straight away. Maybe they knew who he was, maybe they didn't. I mean, he did have the tracksuit on and he was with Team Saunders, but I mean, any fan could be wearing the tracksuit or wearing something similar, so they have to be cautious, I would imagine. They were quite rough with him, but I guess again, you don't know who he is, so I guess they do have to be careful, but it did cause quite a scene, and I would imagine caused a few bruises and bumps for Tom Saunders. The problem for Dillian Whyte is that Tyson Fury did not jump over and try and help. Now, I'm not entirely sure what Tyson Fury could have done in the situation. I mean, he can try and help, but the problem for Tyson Fury is he doesn't want to be getting into too much trouble and causing problems with security teams, because that's not great for him considering he is an active fighter. He does have to be wary of that as well. And I know that you wouldn't probably think about that in that situation if someone you know, someone you are friends with, one of your best friends' parents is being treated like that. You're not really going to think about your own boxing license. I'm not entirely sure that Tyson Fury really understood what was going on, and we don't know the reasons why he did not jump over the fence, because he didn't explain it in his response to Dillian Whyte. He simply came back and explained that Whyte had been ironed out by a 41-year-old Alexander Povetkin. Which leads me to say this, if there is a problem between the two of them, sort it out in the ring. That is the best thing they can do. Two active fighters, they both have a problem, they both don't like one another, and Dillian Whyte doesn't seem to like the way Tyson Fury conducts himself, and vice versa, so why not have a fight? Dillian Whyte says he's a can man, Tyson Fury says he's not, he's the can man who can get knocked out. by someone like Alexander Povetkin, who is at the tail end of their career, 41 years old. And Tyson Fury is someone who says anytime, any place, anywhere. Dillian Whyte says he's not that person because he hasn't fought him. When a fight between him and Tyson Fury had been ordered, yet Tyson Fury still did not fight him. I mean, there was a situation where Tyson Fury said he will fight Dillian Whyte next if Eddie Hearn and Dillian Whyte are able to secure the WBC Diamond Belt to be on the line for that contest. Eddie Hearn, Dillian Whyte done some running around to try and get that sorted, but Tyson Fury said then he's not interested in fighting Dillian Whyte. So there was a situation where the fight could happen, but nothing ever materialized from that. So they are both kind of saying that Dillian Whyte's the can man, but he isn't. That's what Tyson Fury is saying, and Tyson Fury says he's anytime, anyplace, anywhere. Dillian Whyte is saying, well, if that's true, why didn't you fight me? So the only thing I can think of for this to be resolved is for them to have a fight. I know that there are other fights being planned for this year. We know the big one, but still, there is an opportunity that they can fight in 2022, and I hope that when Dillian Whyte becomes mandatory, he will get his world title opportunity. But I would still like to see Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte at some point, because I think that it's a good fight. The build-up would be mega. I mean, imagine it. Imagine the press conferences between these two. Just incredible scenes. So the build-up of the fight would be brilliant. That is definitely a potential fight that could happen down the line. I'm not entirely sure that when Dillian Whyte becomes mandatory to the WBC, that Tyson Fury will be holding that title. Not because of what happens with Undisputed, but after Undisputed, who can say that all of the belts will stay together? So in light of that, if Dillian Whyte is WBC Interim World Champion and the belt becomes vacant, he might fight in a vacant world title fight for that title, or maybe even just be upgraded to WBC Champion. I mean, that's not going to be great for Dillian Whyte given how long he's waited, and he's just upgraded to champion, doesn't get his moment in the ring after the fight to lift the belt, but still, he could become a champion if that WBC belt becomes vacant after Undisputed. I'm sure though that he would rather fight for it in the ring and not be upgraded to champion given his status currently as interim world champion. Nevertheless, I would still like to see these two just sort it out in the ring. I mean, it's great to hear them go back and forth, and it's entertaining to see what they say because some of it is quite amusing at times, but still, I want to see it in the ring, and I want to see how Tyson Fury fares against Dillian Whyte, and vice versa. Maybe at some point we will get to see that matchup. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, also leave a like and grab that subscribe button. Thanks guys.